Foundation show. And with me today is Donna Cohen of the Hollidaysburg YMCA and Tim Surkovich. In the previous promo, I said Mike Surkovich, which is your grandfather.
Correct.
It is Tim Surkovich, and he is with Project Diagnosis for MS. And so it's wonderful to have you both here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're quite welcome. So what I want to start with, Donna, you host the Hollidaysburg's what's the
One
name?
by One.
One by One. I watch
by
that
One.
all the time. And the YMCA has been so good to the Griffith Family Foundation. In fact, without the Y, the Griffs Run and Gun and the foundation would have never come to be, because the YMCA opened their doors to our friends who had their meetings there, and I cannot say enough about the Y, so welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. And you know, your show that you do, can you explain to the audience how long you've done it? And I always marvel at the wonderful stories that you put on your show. I know it airs, isn't it, on Mondays?
Twice.
10 o'clock in the morning
And 7.
7 p.m.
Right.
Monday night, Channel 14, because I do watch it. I'm a faithful, I love
You're the one, huh?
I watch all the time. In fact, who I enjoy watching on there a lot, who has such enthusiasm at the Y, is Lori Smith.
Yes.
She's
Yes,
your number one
definitely.
fan and
Yes.
promoting all the arts and different things. So can you tell the audience how long you've been doing the show and, you know, what you do on the show?
Okay. Well, I appreciate the plug.
Absolutely.
I wasn't expecting that. So, no, I've been on the Y board for about 12 years. And we, believe it or not, have been on the air one by one. We're in our 4th year.
Wow.
Yes, and starting that first time, I was very nervous that I even had the director come running in here and stopping the whole thing, because for one of our sponsors I was given a commercial. And so I've learned a lot, and I really, really enjoy it. And what I get out of it, I'm always amazed on the stories. We like to have people come in that use the Y and tell us their life stories and what the Y means to them.
Well, and I really enjoy watching, because you really do a wonderful job. Tom Capriva and I've talked about this.
Oh.
He has said to me, I don't know how many times, he said, Cathy, she always has a way of coming up with a story to highlight, you know, something that they are having at the Y that they can promote. And he has, I bet he's told me at least 10 different times he does not know how you do it and how much he appreciates what you do for the Y by hosting that show.
Well, I enjoy it.
Yeah, and for 4 years, I know we've been doing this now for 2 years. And that's not easy, coming up with a program and information on a monthly basis. How, like when you're at the Y, I know you're a member of the board, how are some of the ways that you come up with your stories for the one-on-one show?
Well, I kind of talk to the different directors, program directors, see what's going on, and try to time it with what, the events. That's the purpose of our show, is to talk about the programs and the events that the Y is having. So maybe at the end of the school year, I'll get the director of the school, and we'll talk about the day camp. Or when at the beginning of all the Wellness Challenge races, we'll talk about the races coming up. Or Lori loves to talk about her events, being that arts director of the arts and humanities. She's always has something going on. And then we have Leanne, who's the director of the aquatics. She's always got something going on. And it's not really hard. I use that program book, I've said it many times, as my Bible.
Oh,
I go
see.
through it, see what's coming up, get the ideas, and then try to get the right people in there. And I've really, I think we did pretty good.
You do a phenomenal job. I know, I have been on it with Tom before, thanking the YMCA for everything they have done for the Griffith Family Foundation. And, you do a great job with it. In fact, I liked it so much, we were going to try to put this segment on at the same time, but it just didn't, like back-to-back type of thing, and it just didn't work for us. But it's really, really special, and it is a great way to get out there all the programs that are happening at the Y. Now, Tim, you go to the YMCA, and like so many of us in Blair County use the YMCA. With your diagnosis of MS and now with your project diagnosis that you just had your fundraising event, what does the Y offer to you in regards to your illness?
I would say the biggest thing they offer to me is the support from the personal trainers as to the types of things that I might ask them. I need to build strength in a certain area, that type of thing. One of the examples would be Darlene Hale, who's one of the lifeguards. I swim on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's part of my routine. And because of my diagnosis, my legs don't kick the way they're supposed to. They kind of drag in the water. So she offered me this, we just tried it, a belt that I wear, and I've increased my links by 3 times. I could swim all day long now because of that device. So that, and then I worked with Dustin. He's one of the personal trainers that I was working on some exercises that I just wanted, because I can't do certain things. He finds ways to help me to build that strength. So I would say that's what they offer to me. I mean, besides having all the equipment and that type of stuff, but it's the personal help that I get from them. They realize what I have and help me around things that I need to get around.
And that's the beautiful part of the YMCA, that, for all of us, it is really the heartbeat, in my opinion, of our community, that, whether it's an MS diagnosis, whether it's a cancer diagnosis, whether it's a heart condition, they have an expertise there, that they have people on site that can help you with a physical program. It really is special, and I've met Dustin Yoder, is that who you were talking about? We're really looking into now, Dr. John Jubis is the superintendent of Northern Cambria, and he has pancreatic cancer, and miraculously, he's surviving it. In fact, it's truly, I'm just beyond words that he's, 3 years out with it. And so he and Tom and I and Frank and Dustin have gotten together, and we are looking into somehow getting a cancer support group into the Y. My husband Greg went there, worked out a lot, found it to be, if without the YMCA, he just thinks he would have been so alone. And so it's wonderful that, given your constrictions, you have found a way to exercise too.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great. Now, can you tell us, to the audience about your event that you had with the project diagnosis at the Jaffa? If people didn't tune into it the last time you were on the show, take us up to speed on project diagnosis and where you are even right now since the event.
Okay, the event was held in February 8th at the Jaffa Mosque. It was a CD release party, and it was based on lyrics that I wrote about my entire journey with MS, from pre-diagnosis to the present day. And basically, very simple, it starts as being invincible because nobody thinks anything can happen to them, all the way up to the last song on the album called Take Up the Fight, which is my anthem. I just don't give in to the disease. And we had our listening party, and after the listening party and going through all the books and all the CDs that we sold since that time, we did a check presentation during MS Awareness Week to the local society for $6,200. That's how much we raised on that event.
It's wonderful.
Since that time now, we're still, we haven't stopped or anything. We released our new page for the band on the web, www.progmium.com. I'll spell it because I know it's a strange name for a band. PROGMIUM, and we're selling the CD online, obviously. We are playing it on internet radio. As of right now, I have on this radio station that we're doing it online. I've got fans from, I think, 7 different countries signed up right now that are downloading the CD. So, and the biggest thing is I signed up for, I found it by accident actually. There's a thing called MS Connections. It's online, and I signed up for that. But there was also a link at the bottom to something called My Counterpain that was started by an MS patient, and it's basically to graph out your journey. I used it a little bit differently because I don't like to go on and just complain about my disease or anything like that. I actually based it on my CD, and I was doing video clips based on the CD, so on and so forth. Well, I guess it caught her attention, and she called me, and here it turns out that she is on the National Advisory Board for the MS Society, and she was on the selection committee for the video that my son did when he was in 8th grade called My Fight with MS. So hopefully that's going to lead to something.
Oh, it will.
I'm hoping.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I have no doubt.
Yeah. So that's where we are right now.
That's awesome. And I really like your CD. I had purchased it and listened to it. The one part, it starts out like a heartbeat.
Correct.
Because I'm driving in the car and I'm thinking,
did I buy the right thing?
like I'm thinking, where's that sound? I thought, is it my heartbeat? But it's so neat how you've put that all together, and some of the names of the songs again. Do you want to tell the audience, because they really have all meaning, is what I found.
Right.
Listening to it.
The first one's called Through My Eyes.
Right.
The second one's called Invincible.
Right.
And then Numb,
Right.
which is based on my first attack. After Numb is Diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I had to think about that for
Right.
a minute. After that is Denial. It's just one of the stages you go through.
Absolutely.
And then Attack, and that's based on all the MS attacks.
Right.
And then there's a song called The Beast Within, the epic song. And then Glimmer of Hope, and that's basically about research every time they come out with something new. After Glimmer of Hope, it goes into a song called Rejected. I won't explain that one. After Rejected is Alone, and then there's I think one of the most songs that they did the most with, as far as video and what the guys did with it, as far as musically, is called As I Am. And then after As I Am is Take Up the Fight, which is my theme. And it ends with the heartbeat too.
And isn't that, when I listen to the CD, isn't that for all of us, no matter whether it's, Smiles for Miles, whether it's pancreatic cancer, MS, what that CD did when I listened to it is it really choreographed all of our pain, all of our, and how, as we did with Penn State Altoona Friday night, this hope. That is all we do have for these dreaded diseases. As I shared, Greg, there was no hope. I mean, we were told in Pittsburgh, they were very honest with us to go home, get our affairs in order, make funeral arrangements, and we did all that. Greg was a financial planner, and the way Greg and I am, as people know how we are, we're open books. And again, we know when our number's up, and it's part of life. That's just the way so we came home and did all that, but we never, ever gave up hope, and I still don't give up hope for the world to change, in the pancreatic community, because if you take that away, what do we have as a society? Because, as Dr. Moser brought up in his speech Friday night, was about Christopher Columbus. We all thought the world was flat, and here we sit. They thought, and that's hope. That's hope. And so we, as citizens and as people of this world, no matter how bleak it all looks, we can never take hope away. Your CD, I thought, and I'm not a musically inclined person, it takes every challenge, whether it is MS, whether it is Smiles for Miles, whether it's pancreatic cancer, Greg and I felt all that you just talked about. We had every single human emotion, and what helped us every dip, I would say, was hope. Hope. Even when Greg died, I still had hope. I knew it didn't end there. That I knew that I could continue to move forward because I have hope for a better world. So I hope people now, how would you tell the audience? I know via Facebook, if they want to purchase your CD, you would send me something via Facebook that you want so many likes, wasn't it? Or for the CD. Was that, you want to explain that to the audience with Facebook?
Well, Facebook, if you like the page, then you can follow whatever updates we have.
Okay.
We do have a music store on there that you can purchase the CD from there.
Okay, good.
The other one, the band site that I mentioned, we have a music store in there. You can purchase it from there. You can purchase it on iTunes. You can purchase it by going to www.cdbaby.com/progmium.
Okay.
There's a number of different ways that you can purchase a CD, and you can purchase it at the local chapter, and you can get it from me too. So.
That's awesome. And can you tell to the audience who was the collective group that is part of your band? Who are these people?
The name of the band is Progmium. The lead singer is my best friend, Randy Cirillo. He works for UPMC Altoona. The lead guitarist is Luis Morales. He's from State College. He also works at UPMC. And I should say, the only person I knew in the band before we got this all together was Randy. Then our bass player is Rob Cunningham. He's from Hollidaysburg. And our drummer now lives in Corning, New York. His name is Dave Schaefer. He's the one that also mixed and mastered the CD. He spent 2 years at Berkeley, and he's
quite a professional.
He's quite a professional.
I could tell that by listening to the CD.
But it was really strange how it all came together. Randy answered an ad that Luis had out to start a band, and next thing I know, these guys invite me over and told my story, and they wanted to write for me.
And then I even remember you reaching out. We were talking on the phone last summer, about you having the event that you had in February. And you plan to do that yearly, you think, having the event?
I would say no to that. We're going to do different things. Right now, we're working on, without giving out too much, it's our foundation's all based on the power of music and the healing power of music, and so we're looking at doing a musical like a play production type thing, something different.
Right.
It's all in the planning stages right now, but we're going to do smaller things here and there.
Right.
And I'm hoping that this connection that I made with Kate Milliken could lead to going around to speaking at events with my speech. It's Take Up the Fight. It's based on the CD.
Yeah, that would be really good. I know even with our Penn State Altoona event, we did that last year, and we did it, of course, then a year later, and Dr. Moser really enjoyed it, but I explained to him that I'm going to do that event every 2 years, and my thought process on that is 2 years' time, God willing, we will have more information available, for pancreatic research. It is such a difficult line of research, and so, I thought I'd let Sherry Rooch know at Penn State Altoona and Dr. Bechdel Weary that, they've been wonderful to us for opening their doors and resources, but we're going to probably do it in 2 year increments. That my hope, then I can bring world-renowned speakers in. I really foresee it to become an international pancreatic symposium here in Altoona, and I know with Dr. Moser's connections in the docs at UPMC Pittsburgh, we'll be able to do that, and hopefully in 2 years' time we'll have more information to give to the public here in Blair County. And again, as you said, Tim, you've got to kind of change things up and see where the energy's pulling you and let it go, in those directions. Now, our dinner that we have, like in the summertime, which I'd love for you guys to both be a part of, it's Friday night, July 25th, and it's a very lighthearted. Erin Willett is coming back to sing "Don't Stop Believing." I have her name is Julie Weiss, the marathon goddess from California. She has run 52 races in 52 weeks in honor of her dad who passed to pancreatic. And then I have a lady that is the biggest pancreatic advocate in Ireland. She's coming from Ireland. So, it will be a really nice event. It's what I say to people, we're on year number 5 for that. We keep it very lighthearted, very energetic. It's you leave feeling good, you leave with hope. And so by bringing in all the celebrities, all the doctors, by having a great night of having dinner together, singing, it's going to be a good time. And so you leave knowing that we're all we're all coming together for a cause that is such a dreaded and awful disease. So I'd love to have you both there if your schedules permit it. Would be wonderful.
I'd love to be there, but you know what I'm
Awesome.
trying to do?
Where are you going to be?
God willing, I will be riding the MS 150 that weekend.
Really? You know what? I
I'm
know
training
that's
for it.
huge because
Yeah.
I already booked the hotel rooms at the Marriott. I have 10 rooms blocked because that MS bike race is gigantic.
Yeah. And
Is
I'm
that
the-
the same weekend, July 25th, Friday night?
Yep.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
what I
and-
thought. They told me that at the Marriott. They said you better book now.
I'm going
That
to try
event
to
is.
do it.
Have you done it before?
I've never ridden it, no. I'm just something
your
I want
challenge.
to. That's my challenge.
That's your challenge.
25 years of MS, and I'm going to try to ride it
How
myself.
many miles is it? How many?
150 in 2 days.
And that's your goal.
Yep. And that's what I'm using the Y for, to train for it.
Look at that.
Yeah.
You're using the Y, and that is so beautiful that weekend we have our pancreatic dinner. You'll be doing a huge challenge the way this Julie Weiss, the marathon goddess for pancreatic, she's run 52 races in 52 weeks in honor of her deceased father of pancreatic. That is so cool, Tim. I mean, I know you're going to do it, and I can announce to the audience, I will do that you were planning to be here, but you're doing that to raise hope for MS.
Well, if I'm not able to do it, I'll be at your event.
Yeah, well, I would suspect you're going to be able,
Yeah,
all the
we don't
training
wanna
you're
see it.
getting done at the YMCA. That's pretty awesome stuff. That's great. And, getting back to the YMCA, Donna, you've been on the board now how many years?
About 12.
Wow. And can you tell the audience where your passion and love for the YMCA came from?
Well, it started taking my son, Michael, for swimming lessons. And then a few years later, getting on the board. And it's been a real learning experience because you think you know the why. You see the why. I mean, what you think is just swim and gym, as I've said many times on the show. But it is really so much more. One of the first things that really surprised me that it's one of the leading charities.
Right.
And it's not supported by any government monies. It's all, the community supports the Y. And you talk about stories like and how you use it and how Dustin has helped you. That I was talking to him and I got a few stories that of how different people have used the Y and what they've gotten out of it. So if I could share that with you.
Absolutely.
Okay, first of all, I have Carmen. She's over 80. She's wheelchair bound. She doesn't have any mobility in her legs. And Dustin, who's the wellness coordinator for the center there, created certain exercises for her where she can get out of the chair and use what she has. He likes to use these suspension exercise things. They're things that hang from the ceiling. They're like gigantic rubber bands is what I describe it. And he devised some exercises for her so she can move her legs and do things, and her mind, her attitude and everything really increases. There was a time she couldn't do it. She felt a difference, and that was just motivation for her, and that's just one story. And then there's Jean, who's over 70. She had a serious fall resulting in a head trauma and was life flighted to Pittsburgh, and she had it was touch and go for her for a couple of weeks, and then she had a series of 3 more falls and had to have surgeries, had heart problems and everything, and she said during her recovery what she was looking forward to the most was, one, going to her church and getting back to the Y. And her mornings consist of her being anxious to go to the Y, that she feels when she's there that she can forget about her problems for a while. And she said, well, she was doing recovery, that about 95% of her cards and her calls and flowers that came were all from her friends that she made at the Y. And then we have Gina, and she's over 70, and she's had cancer for a number of years. She's gone through all the radiation and stuff, and then it'll come back. And she's had 2 knee replacements, a shoulder replacement, and she's had cancer in her spine. Twice it's come back on her. And in her typical day now, when she goes to the Y, this is unbelievable. And as Dustin was telling me about her, she walks by. So I had a chance to see her, and she's just a tiny little thing. And her day consists early in the morning. She goes to the Y and plays tennis for about an hour and a half. Then she does water aerobics for about an hour. Then she does Zumba. And then she goes to the wellness center and does weightlifting for about 45 minutes. Then she goes home and makes lunch, and then takes her dog out for a walk for about an hour. And I would think the rest of the day spent in bed, for all I know.
I would hope.
But she is just amazing. And the common story with these ladies, with that they build special friendships with the Y. That they may not be friends out of the Y, but in the Y, they're special friends, and they support each other. They can talk to each other. They they can complain to each other and talk about their ailments without, and everybody understanding, and there isn't any. They don't feel bad, because sometimes you get tired of talking to your families on how bad you feel and stuff like this. So it's really supportive, and not only are they physically getting better, but mentally getting better. And Dustin was telling me about a group of he has a class of ladies that are over 50, and they call themselves Dustin's Girls. And when they come to exercise, they wear hot pink t-shirts and hot pink socks to match, so do their exercises and stuff.
That's awesome.
So that's the why for you. That everybody, you take your members as they are, find out what their needs are, and then the why accommodates. It's a fantastic organization, and I can't say enough.
I can't say enough about it either. I mean, Greg was a former board president, and our whole life was the YMCA, raising the kids, and even, when the cancer hit, it still became a haven for us, and then even more so when we started the fundraising, and they offered your boardroom for everybody to go in and meet. Our basketball tournament is the day after the dinner, so it'll be the 26th this year. You guys donate the facility. It's just so wonderful. It's really, really nice what all you guys have done. I can't talk enough about the Hollidaysburg YMCA.
Well, same here.
And that's your passion. Like I said, I've been watching your show for 4 years, and it shows how much you care and how much you care about the Y community. I even like when you do, this is so awesome, you take the camera crew and you go on site.
That was fun. That was fun at the day camp and the school.
Oh, I enjoyed that. I'm not kidding you. I'm home alone a lot, and I turn the TV on, and I always tune in Monday nights. And if I already have watched it, if I only catch a couple minutes, and the person can catch the rest of it, because it airs Monday evenings and Monday morning. And so what people need to know is, if you don't catch the whole show, watch it the next Monday. It'll air again, because it airs for an entire month.
Right.
And so you tape once a month, but it airs the entire month on Monday.
That's what I say in the show. If you miss anything,
you can go back, you can watch it the next week. But I really liked when you did the actual footage when you went out to the camps. I would recommend you do more of that too, especially in the summertime, to really share those camps that they have to offer. My children participated in all of them. They're wonderful. I mean, all that stuff by taking the crew out to actually see, I thought that was great.
Yeah,
you even had a
exciting.
segment out by the playground area. You had a segment there.
Talk to the kids.
Yes, I love that. And I've been meaning to tell you that, and I guess I was supposed to. This was the moment. Because it really, you know, that was creative on your part, because to me, you have talked a lot in here about it and people get it, but by you actually going out on site with the camera crew, that really brings it to life, especially those summer programs.
During that, when we were out there at the school, that in the middle of it, the lights went out. So, yeah, the crew knows what they're doing. We still got a great show.
Yes. Wow. Yeah, I would do even, you know, that was a good way to show the audience visibly what is going on out there. And then, you know, kind of doing those spots that really caught my attention. And I thought, good for Donna, good creativity there.
Well, at the last taping, which is showing now, that we talked about how we're doing the pool. It's going to be
I
all
saw
torn.
that.
Yes.
I saw that.
And that's going to be exciting. By the time they're done, that it's just going to be wonderful.
Because the pool was how old?
About 50 years.
15?
No, a little more than the pool itself.
20 maybe?
I think we're talking about 30, somewhere around there.
Was it? Okay,
25,
because the
30.
Y was built back, I think the new Y. I mean, Greg and I attended the old Y up on Penn Street that is now apartments. But I think, how old is the Y?
Oh, no. Oh, jeez.
It's probably 30.
Where it is right now.
30,
where it is,
where it is right now. 30 at least,
Yeah.
because it was in high school
Right.
when it was all being built. Because I know Carolyn Rooch had a big part of all that.
Yes, she did.
They had the big, when we were all in high school, you guys had the big thermometer of where we were and what was happening. And then Greg, when we had the kids and they were young and he had more time, he was the board president back in, I want to say, 95, 96. And so, you know, he had a vision also for the Y, and so much has come to fruition.
And the new addition, and they're going to expand again and bring it up to a second floor. It's going to be great.
It's wonderful.
And we have thanked the community.
Yes. And what people need to realize, I know when Greg's obituary, it was in lieu of flowers, give to the Griffith Family Foundation and the Hollidaysburg YMCA. That's what I would like to share to people, that the YMCA, that, you know, we all use it. And to remember the Y with your endowments, like with Greg, he was, when we were told the news about, you know, that Greg, you could pass in 2 weeks, I remember we went over to the Good Funeral Home, and Greg said to the gentleman, Carl, he said, well, in my obit, I want, you know, the YMCA to benefit and the Griffith Family Foundation, you know. And so people need to realize that, please, when you're looking to make donations, please remember the YMCA.
Exactly.
It's very important, because like you and I just said, this is how you get the money. You know, many people make such wonderful donations to the Y, you know, and a lot of them remain anonymous.
Yes, they do.
And I just think it's magnificent. I can't promote the YMCA enough. And like with Tim's cause, with working out there to hopefully do the MS bike race the weekend of our run and gun. Look at all those beautiful things that really the Y, in my opinion, is the heartbeat. It's the heartbeat really for all of us.
And we are always looking for volunteers.
Absolutely.
Everybody can.
If they want to volunteer, how would you recommend they get in touch?
Well, I would say, I always say go to the Y
Right,
first.
you do.
Yeah. But that the crew there, the staff, they know their job.
Right.
And so they'll direct you, find out what your interest is, what you'd like to do, let you know what they need. And it changes all the time. You know,
Right.
it depends on what's going on. And and they have a wonderful foster grandparent program.
Oh, they've had that for years.
And it's just a wonderful
It's
place.
just so good. And I always like what you say is at the end of your show, you say, stop out and we'll give you a T-shirt.
Yeah, well, I said for 3 years for a limited time, and so the time is up.
Oh, no more T-shirts.
No more T-shirts.
Because I thought that was
Yeah,
really a
yeah.
neat concept too, but maybe you're not
We'll
doing
come
as
up.
many of the T-shirts
Yeah,
as much.
yeah. So maybe we'll come up with something else.
Yeah, because that really helps. I always liked when you'd say that encourage. Sometimes people are a little tentative and to take that first step. That's an encouraging
And they did
way.
give away some T-shirts.
I knew they would have. And again, I thought that is a good way, that if someone's a little timid about stepping out and going and looking at the why, that's a nice way but they can get the program booklet there
Right,
too.
right.
And,
Yeah, there's a lot of
the
freebies.
service desk out there is so friendly that it's kind of like when you walk into the old show Cheers, it's everybody knows your name. That's what I really like is the
Yes.
front desk really takes that point to get to know who you are, and they do that with everybody. Everybody that you feel, when you go in and you slide your card through and you go through, someone is always there saying, hello Donna, hello Tim, hello Kathy. It's wonderful.
That's right.
That's a
right.
beautiful niche.
That's
And
what
it's
I like going in there when all the kids come in after school, and they're just everywhere. That's their why.
it is.
It's their
And how
home.
about all the artwork that Lori displays?
Oh my goodness!
I just went in there the other day. It was right before my Penn State event. I had to drop off Griff's T-shirt. And I walk in there, and I told Lori Sunday when I saw her, I said, I'm blown away.
Absolutely.
Lori Smith has done a remarkable job of bringing the arts and humanities to the YMCA. And it's beautiful when you walk in, all the artwork of the students. How about when you hang the umbrellas too?
That was something else. I'd like for them to do that again. I mean, that was
loved
amazing.
It
Yeah,
was
one of
really
them was
good.
my son's.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And the
can't-
ideas are unreal. that they come up with.
Unbelievable. She's working on now an Easter Bunny event coming up,
Yeah,
she told me.
Right, having lunch with the bunny.
Having lunch with the bunny. They were going to promo that on Monday on We Are Central PA Live. And it's just really neat, all the collaborative events and people that you have at the YMCA.
And their push of families, having families
Absolutely.
where the family's included. You just don't drop off a kid,
No.
like that. Everybody's included.
That is, since I've raised my kids, have even become more of a signature event for you, the Valentine dance. The
Why night?
Y nights, definitely, really has evolved since Lori and I have raised our children. So she's really been really spearheading a lot of that. So
Yes, she
kudos
has.
to her and the
Absolutely.
whole staff at the Hollidaysburg YMCA. I can't thank Tom and
Well,
Frank.
I always say the Y family.
Y family.
And that's what it is, from
It
the
is.
staff to members.
It really,
Everybody
really
cares.
is. It really is. It's
Okay.
wonderful.
Yeah, I wanted to just expand upon the one part you said. Like when I go in there, they're my friends. They're people that I really didn't know before, and now
They become your net. That's
Yeah.
what Greg told me. He
Yeah.
said, without that Y, Kathy, I'd have never made it 19 months. He said it
Exactly.
made a reason for me to get out of bed. He'd say, put his gym pants on and get over there. And he said they were all waiting for me. And if I didn't show, he said they wondered, where are you, Greg? And we had the care page at the time. And Greg would say, hey, if I'm not at the Y, tune into our care page, because then you'll know I'm at the doctor's or I'm back at the hospital when I'm sick or something. So it was really, he would always say to me, make sure you put that care page up, because they'll be worried, where am I?
I had one of the ladies say that if it wasn't for the Y, she'd be in a nursing home.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this was a remarkable segment, to promote the YMCA. So it's my
Oh,
pleasure to
I
have
thank
you
you.
here.
Thank you.
Absolutely, my pleasure to have you on
Thank
today
you.
too. Okay, thank you. I really appreciated my guest today, and keep on believing that we all can change the world. Thank you.